Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Sunday. I'm Natalie, your international psychic medium and energy reader and healer. And welcome back to Femme, the channel where you have it all. One-stop shop, really, when it comes to spirituality, pop culture, commentary, tarot, you name it. The metaphysical, you name it. You're in the right place. All right, everyone, how is everyone doing today? I'm really excited because Elle is joining us today, and it's been almost a year. Like last time we did a video together on this channel, it was the 30th of November, I believe, and this was after the news of Cassie suing Diddy and going after Diddy. And we did a video about that. I will link it down below in the comments after we're done. If you haven't watched that video, I do highly suggest that you do watch that video because a lot of stuff, because we did a reading, right? A lot of stuff came up that now is unfolding, and we're now seeing these things happen right before our eyes. And you know that over here, we won't stop talking about the diddler and the music industry and the evil people behind everything that's going on. And of course, we're going to be a voice for all these women and men who were schmegs trafficked, all right, who have been manipulated, who have been abused, who have been through a terrible time. Because at the end of the day, we need to bring light. We need to shed light to the darkness. And part of this darkness is, of course, well, not part of this darkness, but I do believe this light, what's shedding now is shed on these celebrities, all these icons, all these idols, all these people that we grew up or we have been idolizing, all of us, all these years. And now it's time for all this gunk to come to the surface, for people to realize that do not follow what your icons or these celebrities, influencers, public figures are doing. Follow your heart and live your life to the best capacity that you can to be happy. Because usually I do believe that the reason why a lot of people are stressed and are depressed and they just have these negative feelings is because we do tend as human beings to compare our lives to other people's lives, especially other people who have what seemingly seems to be a better life than us, than ours. But listen, this is huge. The diddler stuff is huge, and everything that's coming out about the music industry. As you know, I have a past and I have connections to Sony Music and the music industry. So I do have inside scoop, which I have started spilling it for the members only videos. And if you do want to become a member, I will be going live for the members on Thursday. So because people always ask me, how do I become a member? It's very confusing here on YouTube. You can do it on your computer, not on your phone. On your phone, I don't know why the user experience is so bad. But if you go under any one of my videos, there's that join button, as you can see here on the screen. You click on that and that prompts you and you become a member, and then make sure that notifications are on so you don't miss a video and you don't miss a beat. Because trust me, as we come closer to 2025 and a lot more stuff are happening, whether it's the music industry, whether it's in pop culture, whether it is in the world, whether it's with the upcoming elections. And I have something to say, which is not, I'm going to say it now before we start with Ellen, before I bring her on. This is because I'll probably forget to mention it later. But I did see that Kamala Harris, okay, and we can discuss it with Elle as well. I'll bring her up in a minute. She did show her health records, right? Just to prove that she's healthy. And apparently Donald Trump hasn't yet. And if you remember what I've said, that one of the reasons why I do feel that there is going to be there's a blockage around the elections, and why I feel that something might postpone them is because I do believe that Trump is not going to be able to run, or his health, because he has severe health issues that he's not transparent about. He's not coming out and saying, but this is what I'm feeling every time I read him. I see it, that he won't be able to go on. Okay, just a side note, we will talk about this on Thursday as well at the Members Live, but I do not want to keep Al waiting. And before we start, do remember to please like this video and do subscribe. If you're new here, you won't regret it. That's for sure. This is a beautiful, soulful community. You're going to make new friends. We're all here for each other. This is about positivity, empowerment, and of course, even some things sometimes that I say, some of my predictions may not be, all fluffy and beautiful and happy, but do not see them as scaremongering. It's more so giving you a heads up regarding some of these big changes that are happening worldwide that we're going to be all experiencing. We're all going to be going through various things in the next couple of years. And it's all about sort of like preparing you and giving you sort of like the ammunition. Maybe that's not the right word, everything that's going on in the world, but giving you sort of the tools to also work on yourself spiritually and just, we're all going to ride this wave, because at the end of the day, what's right at the other, on the other side of the tunnel is beautiful. So we're all fighting this war right now. We're all fighting this war, and we got this. Okay? This spiritual war, actually. So, all right, I'm going to bring my beautiful friend Elle, because we've missed her. Hello, hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Hello.
I'm so glad Danny,
That's new member.
actually, Danny, she's like, you girls, what's been going on? We love your collaboration. And
Do
I
it
was like,
again.
she's right. She's
I
right.
love
I
her.
miss Elle, and
Three things. New member,
please.
yay. Number two, Omeka said something in the comments while you were bringing me up. I thought it was interesting. So the Aaliyah Jay-Z correlation. Allegedly, none of us were there, but the story goes that Aaliyah did not want to get on the plane that she was getting on. We know that Hype Williams sent a plane over to her because she was trying to get back to the MTV Awards. Sent a plane over for her, but Lenny Kravitz sent it, excuse me, and Hype Williams took the plane. The backup plane, Aaliyah felt was too small. She had a headache. She didn't want to get on. Allegedly, somebody gave her something for a headache, but it ended up being sleeping pills. So the legend is that Aaliyah did not walk onto that plane herself. Somebody carried her aboard. And then we all know what happened after that. The second thing, or the third thing rather, tell me more about this election prediction before we get going, because you have my attention.
All right. So I did do a video specifically about the elections. I do not go political on this channel because I do not want to bring, it's not that I'm fine with talking. I mean, I do not take a stance, but I do not want to bring that negative energy into my channel and into my community.
It's definitely dark.
But the people spoke. The people wanted a reading, and I did do a reading. And yeah, I did see that Kamala is winning these elections by default. All right. But here's the thing. What Spirit showed me is that she's going to stay on as president for 2 years. I don't know what's happening afterwards. I wasn't shown, but it doesn't seem that she's going to go full term. So, and Trump's got health issues, allegedly, in my opinion, and all that, because we have to be careful on here. Oh, by the way, Al, should we be thanking Beyonce before we start? Have you seen the whole TikTok thing?
Okay, so I've seen it. I'm definitely like I sit on the board as a beehiver, but I deal in the mess, right? And so my thing is, I'm a Jersey girl. I'm delusional. It always comes back to Wendy Williams. But my thing is, Wendy Williams would say, I don't have celebrity friends because I have to talk about the news. And if you come up in the news, I'm not going to say, oh, this person is my friend, so I'm not going to talk about her. I feel the same way when it comes about information. So I will be sometimes versed on something and I'll choose not to make content on it, but I'm definitely abreast. That being said, one of the stories that I've been told from music people outside New Yorkers, again, I'm a Jersey girl, is that a lot of things happen behind Beyonce, right? Beyonce is the front child, and the music and the business and all of that happens, and they intentionally keep her out of the loop. Whether that works for her as a person, as a woman, as a boss or not, I can't speak to. But I do know allegedly that she is not abreast to a lot of the things that happen. And apparently the legend goes that the connection between Jay-Z and Beyonce happened because of Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles made that connection. They were supposed to Bonnie and Clyde it out, take over this music industry. And then Jay-Z and Beyonce got together, and then allegedly Jay-Z convinced Beyonce to drop Matthew Knowles as manager.
Hmm.
So, but it was supposed to
Interesting.
be them, those two men collecting on that cash cow. It was supposed to, especially when they first got together, Bonnie and Clyde was the, I feel like my camera's lagging. Bonnie and Clyde,
No, fine.
they were doing the R&B rap hip hop collabs was really, really big then. So we got the '03 Bonnie and Clyde, and we're doing all of this. And it was supposed to be like, look, you guys are stronger together than separate. And then he cut Jay-Z or Matthew out of the deal. I said all of that to say I feel as though if you tapped into her, it would be a lot of like anger, because I feel like some of this is just coming to surface for her. So it would be a lot of like, I didn't know, I wouldn't have done this. Why didn't you tell me? Where'd you keep this? And quite like we held Erica Jane accountable when it was Tom Girardi, you're responsible. You know what I mean? To just say that things happened under your nose and you didn't know. So there is a level of responsibility there. But also when you're an entity that is as big as Beyonce, it's like I delegate these activities to not know.
I agree. I do believe I've done a couple of readings on Beyonce, but mostly Jay-Z kept coming up. It almost felt like it was Jay-Z's energy kind of overtaking the reading. So every time I wanted to dive deep into it, but what, and I've gone cold right now just talking about it, but what I did see, though, and I felt this with the Kardashians, I've seen it with other celebrities and stars and musicians and stuff, is that these people do dabble, to say it lightly, um, in sort of dark arts and things. All celebrities
Very
do.
much.
I'm not blaming Beyonce or anyone. A lot of them do it, which is why a lot of these, when you go on Google and you ask about their birthdays, when is, I don't know, Jennifer Aniston's birthday? I'm just giving you a random name.
Mhm.
Um, it's not correct, and there's a reason for that. That's protecting
Yes.
themselves, right? That's a shield. So that
Yeah.
was interesting about Beyonce, and I do agree because if I remember correctly, and my community knows that I forget because during a reading I go into the zone, so I don't like.
The energy, something you can't hold on to it like
I
that.
cannot hold on to it unless I go back and I watch my videos, and I don't do that unless I have to edit because I just don't like the sound of my own voice.
Me
I
too.
am
I hate it.
I
I
hate
don't
it.
wanna rewatch anything that I've done if I'm not editing it, and I don't
Same.
want to read any old notes. If I sent you an old DM, like, my husband and he'll be like, "Oh, look at this old DM from '08." Oh, I'd rather eat my foot, please.
What you
Mm-mm.
mean?
Mm-mm. I hate it.
Sometimes
I
if I
hate it.
wanna see what I've said, I will just mute my video, mute myself, and I'll just put the CC captions on.
And scrub the transcript. Yeah, let's get to what I need. Oh, for sure. I'm a transcript scrubber.
Same, same. So back to Beyonce, what I was saying is that if I remember, and I remember that when I did that reading for both of them, which I do believe it was last year or a year and a half ago. I agree
Mhm.
with you, well. I did pick up depression. I did pick up sadness. I did pick up like sort of like a weakness. Like her energy was weak.
Mhm.
And Jay-Z stuff kept coming up. Like he kept coming up. It's almost like he blocks us from reading her. And it's not about readers only. I feel he does that in real life too.
In
Like
real
he
life.
will. Right? I mean, you know much better than I do because you follow them, but closely, or because you're part of the beehive. But like, have you noticed that it's almost like he's just jumps in and like speaks for her, or like he's an ambassador for
Yes,
Beyonce?
100%. 100%. It
What are
gives,
your thoughts?
and the lady will have, and not in like the cute way.
Yeah, exactly. But what are your thoughts on Jay-Z objectively? Forget
Um,
about all the diddler stuff.
no, for
Like,
sure.
let's pretend that never happened. What would be your thoughts?
I feel like people will make up that, like, haters exist, right? So people will absolutely make up things to not, to discredit your character and all that. But I feel like some of the stories that have come out about Jay-Z, it's like these many people can't be lying. I also think that there is a place that you have to reside energetically to be a street narcotics dealer. You know what I mean?
I
There's
know what you
just a
mean.
place. You have to get to a point where you normalize some things, you become okay with certain things. That's just that lifestyle. And when you've operated in that and when you found success in that for so long, I think that it becomes hard to just be prim and proper. I think that when you're dealing in 1% money, it's dirty. It's dark because I think being that rich is unethical. So, in the way that we partake in it, right? If everybody just had $1 billion, okay, cool. But the things that happen inside of that, the overusage, the all of that, it's not helpful to our planet. I say all of that to say that I believe that that man's hands is dirty because I believe that there's no way that it could not be. It'd be
Right.
like trying to find a politician who's not a liar.
Right. Right. And as we know, the music, and because we were just talking about before we came on, we're just talking about how people believe just because an artist sells millions and millions of albums or singles or whatever it is, or downloads, that they're
Mhm.
filthy rich. No, you're wrong. You're
No.
very mistaken. The record labels have so much power. Their contracts, and I've discussed this on my members only video last week, or it was the week before. Um, those they get a loan. So even if a record company, a label
Thank
comes
you.
and says, "We love you. you're fantastic. You're gonna be the next Beyonce. We want you, whatnot. We'll give you 3 million. This is a deposit. And then as soon as you're in the studio, we'll give you another 3 million. And then when you start selling, we'll give you more."
Mhm.
Bullshit. Excuse
Nobody's
my
giving you
language.
anything. No, nobody gives you anything.
No one gives you anything. It's a loan. People don't realize, I don't know why I'm frozen, but people don't realize it's a loan. They have to pay it back. And I hope I get unfrozen soon because that's not very flattering.
No, that is not the cutest face that one could be stuck on.
It never is. It never
Uh,
is. Hold on,
but
let me
also,
drop myself. Let me drop myself. Sorry, Elle. Let me
mhm,
just maybe that will.
to the people while we're here, there are points on an album, right? So when you think about an album, you're thinking about breaking it down into fractions. And the house is always going to eat first, meaning that the record label that loaned you the money is always going to recoup their money first. So you go into record labels and then you go into services provided for the content and all of that. And that's where that money comes from. It's then sales. The ASAP crew, so like ASAP Ferg, ASAP Rocky, they were kind of like innovative in what they were doing because they would take the loaned money and then flip it into something that then made money. So, just for example purposes, and I'm not saying that these are the numbers that they operated off of, I'm just giving you an example. If I loan you $100 and you take that $100 and then you create something and it's now made $600, by the time it's time for you to get your 100 back, nobody cares. And that's what the ASAP crew was able to do. A lot of people, a lot of artists want people to think that they have money, so they'll go out and they'll buy jewelry. The ASAP crew had no problem dealing in the loaned jewelry. They would have no problem being like, "Oh, that was for the video." They weren't embarrassed by that. So that's how in-house. And I think nobody asked in this live, but I think a lot of people always feel like there's a mismatch between Rihanna and like ASAP Rocky. And it's like we are talking about people who came into this industry and kind of did something unprecedented in terms of how they were flipping their money, how they were okay with participating in loan things, or like the industry like, oh, you guys could buy this. No, we don't need to buy it. Let's just rent it for the day. And then so they were very strategic with their borrowed money. So I do believe at one point they were like one of the only current artists that weren't in debt as they were recording, like that entity of rappers.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting fact. And it's a good point because don't forget it, with the rappers, a lot of them are young when they get signed up with the labels.
They're
They're
preyed upon.
young. They come from the hood, they're just, most of them haven't even finished high school. They don't know. And then when they start making money, then Sony, Universal, Warner, whoever it is, they're going to come and say, okay, you need a business manager. I've got someone.
Mhm, mhm.
I've got a man for that, or I have someone for your legal stuff. And
But
it's
that's
usually
also why Taylor Swift was so successful too, because Taylor Swift's dad
exactly.
was in finance. She came I don't need your business manager. I don't need I really just need your platform. Also, they feared her dad, so she was only going to get screwed over, but so much. But she came in having those things. I had Erica Cobb on my live, not the Friday just past, Friday before that, and she was talking about, to your point, how when you get into these industries, they will try to steamroll you. Here's my business manager. Here's my thing, and you need to go get your own. The people that work for you need to be more loyal to you than to anybody else.
100%. So if
Scooter
anyone's a
Braun
new,
did try to Anna did try to F Taylor over and won a little bit, but ultimately she won. And again, Scooter was not like an exec. We're talking about people getting screwed from the A&R, the corp, the people who say, yes, this can be a song, like getting screwed from those labels. Screwed is screwed, but that's the level we were talking about.
for instance, this guy.
Hey, Clive.
Welcome, Clive Davis, to the party, because we're going to be reading you, Clive, because there's
I'm
so
excited.
much. Okay, shall we start with Clive Davis then? He's an
Yes, please.
Aries. Just want to mention that.
Oh my God, of course he is.
He's an
Clive.
Aries, so he's very cutthroat businessman. He can ice his heart. He's someone who does not put emotions forward. If he's going to make money, if this is going to serve him, granted, we're generalizing because I try to look for his natal chart, but I could not find anything that I trust is correct. So just saying, otherwise I would have brought up his chart. But he's someone that is, his eye is on the prize, whatever that prize may be, and he's going to
Whatever
go
it
get
might be. I'm gonna see if I can find it. That is so interesting.
it. Right. And then, we'll get to the others as well, because I really want to talk about Corey Gamble as well, because I want to ask you a few questions, but let's start with Clive and then we'll get to Corey as well. People have been asking me, and the mystery around Corey Gamble's past. And his relationship to Chris, because obviously, okay, we'll talk about it after Clive. We have a lot to unpack.
Aries. I can't find his rising. His moon.
See, I
is
couldn't
in
find it
Aries.
either.
His sun is in rising. His moon is in rising. I'm sorry, in Aries.
Anyway, he's an Aries. We don't know any more information. Again, there are a lot of these powerful people, especially those who know about energies and magic and all that, will not reveal their real time of
Full
birth,
chart.
their real birthday and everything. So, and by the way, which is a good point to make for everyone watching. So there are lots of like astrology groups on Threads, on X, on this, on that. People tend to post their charts because they want astrologers or people who are versed into astrology to kind of like answer some questions or give them some explanation. Do not do that. Do not. Your birth plan, your natal chart, your chart is yours. Do not make it public. You don't want to. You do not want prying eyes on your chart. What's that?
His rising is a Leo. Sun. I'm Aries, Pisces, Leo.
Moon. Oh, all right. Okay, if this is accurate. So he's fire, Aries, but he's also very intuitive. I do feel that he follows his intuition, and he's got a good eye. He's got a good eye. And if you look at Clive Davis's past, he got a scholarship at Harvard Law School. And this
Yes,
is
he did.
a man who came from basically nothing. It was very, very like, low class family. He was raised in Brooklyn and everything. So this guy's cutthroat for sure, because he got where he got to, not because he's a good man.
Mm.
Because there are a lot of good men out there that come from very, like, working backgrounds, poor families, and they're very, they're very sort of moral and hardworking, and they never reach
Upstanding.
they
Yeah.
never reach that 1%. So just saying, definitely just by looking, and generally I've heard a lot about, like, not just from what's out there, but just by working at Sony Music, I heard a lot about Clive Davis. He's
Mhm.
very well respected because he is good at what he does when it comes to finding talent, signing up talent, and all that. But the stuff I've heard is yeah, it's dark.
Yeah.
So, and we're not surprised that he was mentoring the diddler.
No, not at all.
Not at
He's
all. Did you know
respected
he
because
was
he's
bi?
yes.
Mm.
And not that I'm sexuality shaming. He can be whatever
No,
he
no, no,
wants
no,
to
not at
be.
all.
It's the closeted antics and it's the extreme homophobia that comes out of the music industry, that if you are a gatekeeper
Right.
and you participate in these actions, why do you also allow there to be a stigma in this way? You're the person approving the music, right? Like you're you're the person acquiring the talent, which means that you have a big say in the messaging, and you
Mhm.
allow this homophobic rhetoric, and that's what I've always found interesting.
Thank you. That's why I mentioned it. You just said exactly what I was thinking. That's why I said it. Because that's the hypocrisy of the music industry,
Great
entertainment
word.
industry.
Yep.
They're all hypocrites. They're all hypocrites. Thank God for Gen Z. I know a lot of Gen Z gets a lot of rap because of the cancel culture and all that. But you know what? Gen Z keeps people accountable, whether we
Yeah,
like it or not.
the Baby's most recent mixtape, I think, did 9,000 copies. Yeah, they canceled the fuck out of him. 9,000 units. And I know it's like it's hard. Like you should always, especially artists, I'm always like applaud even the small things. You know what I mean? And quite
Yeah.
like the money, we're always taught that like these live streams go up and we should have 150,000 people in here. And if we're not, we're not successful. Like, so yay to the 9,000 people that supported his art, but also in a world where this is about moving the units.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, listen, cancel culture shouldn't be the thing that, oh, I don't like someone, let's cancel them. That's not, that's
No,
not. I do not agree with a cancel culture, but I do agree with the fact that we call out things that celebrities and public figures do.
accountability culture.
Accountability, that is the correct word. And we should make that the word instead of cancel culture and all that. That should be actually the term that we should be using.
Rebrand.
Snap. Snap out. Love it. All right. Shall we dive in with Clive? So I know
Let's.
you've
I'm so
got
excited.
questions, girl.
I do. I do. Oh, I do.
Drop them.
Number
Let's go.
one, was he involved with Whitney Houston's passing?
Oh,
Let's
I
just
knew that was, I knew you were going to
let's
go
just
straight.
go because that's going to shape the rest of the questioning. Honestly, if this then that.
And the
I,
thing is, I have channeled Whitney Houston. I did channel Whitney Houston a couple of years ago. And it's interesting because she did not give me any of that. Like every time, like the
it's
only
in
thing
that
she
note
told
to
me.
Brandy, and that's the only place she put it.
Mhm.
That's what we need to channel. Brandy, what was in the note?
Yeah, what was in the note? Oh, I did. Oh, is that available? I think I did it with Kempire, and I think Kempire has it members only because I did tap in to see
Spill some
what was
tea.
in the thing, and I don't remember because I never edited that video, so I don't remember what. But anyways, maybe Kempire can remind me. But yeah, back to what were we talking about? I lost
Whitney,
my train.
Whitney and Clive in the note
Oh, yeah, and
with
I
Brandy.
remember that she said during when I channeled, she did make me feel like woozy,
Hmm.
and that she drank something that instantly made her feel sick, which is why she
Hmm.
went into the bathtub. She felt like if she was, like, in, like, cold water, that it would make her feel better, so she would be able to go down and join the party. But she never gave me any more
Wait, but that's
information. Go on.
interesting because she was in hot water, and one of the conspiracies
What?
is yes, one of the conspiracies is that the temperature of the water would have been too hot for any human being to have submerged themselves in it. Like the cycle, like she would not have been able to step and then sit in that temperature of water. It wasn't
Interesting, because she
cold.
said cold.
But that was always the thing that she was put into the tub mortem. Excuse me, I was gonna say partum.
And how would it stay hot? Like, I mean, it took a while until they realized that she wasn't there. So it doesn't make sense to me because the body
Mhm.
starts getting cold. I don't know how cold the room was or the bathroom was. I mean, they didn't find her straight away. It took a
No.
few good minutes or a few like a half an hour. So the water would have gone cold, especially as the body was getting colder.
Right, but I it's like one of those investigation ID channels where they break down like the deaths of the celebrities, and so they had like an autopsy person, a forensic scientist there, and they were saying again that the temperature of the water, if you like, what's it, reverse engineer, it would
Mm-hmm.
have been too hot for her. Like if this, then this. So if the water is
Mm-hmm.
this temperature now, she's dead. Then it would have to be around this temperature when she got in. That's not a realistic temperature. That's interesting.
Interesting. Well,
Clive,
let's
get to
see.
talking.
Well, let's see what comes through. Let's see what comes through. I do feel his energy. He was an angry man too. Not now
Mhm.
because he's older now, but I think he's 90 something, 91,
92.
92. Oh, L, no. Wait. Oh, Lord. All right, I'm gonna show everyone the cards. Okay, you don't need to read the tarot. You can just look at the imagery. All right. So the first thing that came up because I was connecting to Clive Davis and I was asking, what does he know? Because I didn't want. You cannot ask Spirit,
That's
did he kill her? You know, he did.
yeah, no,
No.
of course.
You try to go around and get as much information as you can. That's at least how I work. Now, King of Cups. King of Cups, just where it is there. Okay, King of Cups. You can see this is a knight, a king carrying a cup. So, cups normally in tarot is love, but in this case, this is Clive giving her, Whitney, something to drink or something, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. Okay.
Mm.
10 of Wands, burden. What is it? What she was becoming a burden. It feels to me that to Clive, she was becoming a burden, whether it was because of her a relationship to what's his name, Bobby Brown. It could be maybe because she was, she had addiction issues. She was a Leo, so she was like larger than life as well,
Mhm.
personality wise. And it could be that she was, or that she was talking too much to people. This is what I heard right now.
Talking too much, and I was just that's funny that you say you just heard it because I was thinking respectfully to Whitney. When Whitney put out her last album, and she sung "I Didn't Know My Own Strength" on Oprah, y'all can go pull this clip. I wanna say that Clive Davis was there in the audience, but she sung "I Didn't Know
Hmm.
My Own Strength," and her voice was not the Whitney that we fell in love with, and I remember thinking when I watched that, how dangerous is Whitney Houston to the music industry if she can't sing? Right? Because if she can't sing, that's her bread and butter, and we know that she had addiction issues. We know that there's probably not money like that liquid, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna
Mm-hmm.
stay in this proximities, if you wanna stay in this circle, how dangerous do you become? And so when you just instantly said talking, I was like, "Yeah, because she can't sing."
She can't sing and she knew things. And because of her addiction issues, I do feel that she had a loose tongue. That's what I heard. That's what Spirit just like literally just showed me
Mm,
that. And then I'll go on. I want to say that Orchid says, Fran says, former CSI here, the body will change temperature to its environment, not the other way around.
so the body wouldn't have made the water colder.
Yeah, which is what was
Mm.
my hypothesis at first, and not the other
Mhm.
way around, where it would make like the hot water would sit. So not buying it. Not buying it.
Mm.
All right, and then the Fool. So the Fool, what does it mean in tarot? This is the first card of the deck, which means new beginnings, starting new afresh, living your life carefree. This is her post mortem, like post her at aliving, unfortunately. And then I have King of Cups, another King of Cups. No, this is the Knight of Cups. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go back. King of Cups would be Clive Davis. Okay. So, and he's holding a cup. So this is Clive Davis, I'm hearing. And this was allegedly his MO. All right. The Knight of Cups is someone she trusted, who gave her the drink that was laced with something. This was someone who was close to her and she trusted, because she did not trust this man. So she would have never gotten a drink from him or anyone who is in his vicinity and in his sort of posse. All right. So,
Ray J.
if another Page of Cups, so many cups, and I keep seeing this as a pattern every time I read around the
Somebody in the comments said what I said. Ray J.
Ray J?
Did Ray J pass her the cup?
I'll ask.
The whole chat.
Okay. The chat's going cray cray about Ray J. Oh my God. See, I'm rhyming now.
You're a rapper now.
I'm a rapper now. Channeling Eminem right now. Okay. And Tower, there it is. There it is. Let me ask my guides about Ray J. Let me ask by the way, you guys, look at what happened to my bracelet when I said the name Ray J. And this is not easy. Look, it's not an easy bracelet to open. Just saying. And it looks a little bit like shackles and stuff. But anyways, and then I have the Towers, which is interesting. Let me connect really quickly and ask about Ray J.
I love it here so much. Oh my God. This is like my zhuzh. I wish I had some wine.
Me too, but I never drink and
and do the readings. Never.
I never do that. Even when we're, when I'm with friends and stuff, and they're like, we're like, if you come over and we drink, they're like, come on, bring the cards out. I'm like, I've been drinking. I'm not doing that.
I never do that. And I don't suggest that anybody get a reading from somebody who is intoxicated, just because you cross. Like, you need to be as clear and as open as possible when you're doing readings, when you're doing channelings. And so spirits, like alcohol, which is what they're called, it can cross the message. And so that gets a little dangerous. And you want to make sure, like I said, you're as clear and as open and as light, if that I can say that, like energetically as light as you can possibly be. And just alcohol by its nature, it's a depressant. So it's going to give you a darker. Go ahead.
Very well said. And I will just add that also, when you are intoxicated or you've been like, smoking a little bit of green or whatever it is, you're very much, because when you smoke the green stuff, what you do is you do transcend, you do connect to other dimensions. And I'm not saying it being pro or con, do whatever you want, be responsible. I don't care what people do, as long as they're responsible and they know what they're doing and they have things under control. But you're also susceptible and you're open to other entities and things coming through, because you're wide open. You're not controlling what's coming through. So protect yourself. You are not able to protect yourself spiritually as, when you're intoxicated or whatever it is, as you do when you are sober, or when you're lucid, let's just say. Okay, let's back to Whitney. So Whitney's card just came up, a Queen of Wands. That's definitely Whitney's card, because I remember every time I read her, this is what comes up. So I'm asking about Ray J specifically. And my question to Spirit and the cards was like, what was Ray J's involvement in this? I leave it open-ended so I can get more stuff in. Now, this is Whitney, so obviously there is some kind of connection. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come up. Temperance, look at this. Temperance, you have fire and water. Fire being Whitney, the Leo, and water where she was found and where it all happened. And I do believe, oh my God, I've gone cold. I feel like there's so much energy in here right now, and Spirit and Queen of Swords. So someone was executing orders. The
Pat.
Queen of Swords.
Pat.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What was Pat's
So
involvement?
yeah, look at this Queen of Cups. So I do believe that RJ is
Ray J, you were right.
Ray J. Sorry, yeah, I'm just all over the place because I'm seeing things right now. Like I'm being taken back to the hotel room. I'm being taken back to the bathroom. And one thing is for sure, it wasn't Whitney, you know, just filling up the tub for her to go in. It was someone else. It was someone else who prepared the tub and they put her in there. Now I'm trying to get the information. Was she alive when she was put in there, or was she was deceased at the time? So I'm trying to get this information for you guys through. I'm feeling she was unconscious. So she wasn't conscious, she was unconscious. No, when she went in, that's why Whitney here's what I'm getting. That's why Whitney showed me the cold water, and I was feeling cold at the time. I remember that. I don't remember, but that's why it feels like the cold water was almost like a shock, and because of whatever it was in her system,
Mhm.
it just it created this, like, her heart stopped, and it made it look natural. Do you know what I
That's what it said on the investigation thing, but I'm telling you, they
mean? It
said
is?
hot water and not cold. Yes. They
Okay,
said
so they
that the
were wrong about the hot and cold. Okay.
so they said that it was like a cardiac arrest, like when you go and it's that shot. Oh my God. Y'all have to go watch that episode.
I wanna watch it too after this.
Uh,
Absolutely. They all have positions to remain relevant in that industry, literature. Okay. Okay. So the chat's going crazy. I cannot follow
Wait, no,
everything.
someone said, yes, where is Pat Houston's involvement? She's literally the last person standing, and she was the person to tell us about Sissy Houston's unaliving or passing away. Rather, she wasn't unalive. She passed away. And granted, some could say, like, okay, yeah, she was supposed to tell. She was the daughter-in-law. She's supposed to tell you what happened. But Pat has been weird the whole time.
I do believe someone was in the room, if not in the bathroom. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm being shown right now as we speak. You're talking and I'm seeing things. Pat must have been. I see a woman. I'm not sure if it's her because I can't see her face. So it's sort of like I can see like a body, like the lower part. Could be possibly it was her, but
They
in the room.
Okay, so again, even further, y'all know. If you don't know, hi, I'm Elle from over at Just Elle. I talk all things pop culture. I'm a pop culture critic, but the page was founded on my love for reality TV, right? That being said, when Whitney Houston passed away, they did a reality show. Bobby Christina, the adopted son who then became Bobby Christina's boyfriend, Sissy Houston, Pat Houston, it was a reality show, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And I do believe that Pat said in the reality show that she found Whitney because wasn't y'all in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong, Pat was working as Whitney's assistant. So she was at the hotel. It was Grammy weekend. And she went to the room to go get Whitney or tell her it was time for something. And that's when she found her. But I am like 99.9% sure that Pat is the one that found Whitney.
Well, all I can tell you, that's all I'm getting is information. She was in the room when Whitney passed.
It's Autopsy. The name of the episode is called Autopsy. It's season 9, episode 38, and it's Whitney Houston re-explained or re-examined. It's on Peacock if you guys have that.
Thank you.
That's where
I
I
will
got that
go.
information from.
Perfect. Perfect. I will add it afterwards. I will add that in the description box or in the comment down below so people can find it easily. I will try to find a link for that, or I'll just put the episode title.
Name in.
Can you drop it in the chat so my
Yes.
mods can actually find it for us and then just,
Yes.
add it for people to just to find it afterwards and see it. So this is very interesting. So to recap, we have here someone who is a puppet master, which I do feel this could have been Clive Davis. Okay, being this collateral damage, he was collateral damage because of the way, like Whitney was not, no one was able to control Whitney anymore. Control
Mhm.
being the key word here. So something had to give. Something had to give. And then I do see Ray J and Pat
Mm.
involved. They were definitely, or not definitely, allegedly, according to me and my abilities, and nothing is based on facts here, for entertainment purposes only. They were there. They were there. And you know what disturbs me also? I don't know the details about what happened after they found it, but it seems to me that it's almost like they delayed or they took their
Yes,
time. It's
they said
okay.
that in the episode.
I swear I haven't watched that episode. I do not have Peacock. I live in Europe.
I'm like, yes.
I live in
Oh
Europe, so
my
I do not. I
god.
tried to sign up, but I can't even with the VPN because I do not have an American credit card. So I've never watched it. But oh, thank you. Thank
Mhm,
you,
mhm,
Elle. Okay,
mhm.
I'll just bring it up really quickly. So it's season 9, episode 38 of Autopsy, The Last Hours of Whitney Houston, re-examined. So everyone head on over there after this live, not right now. All right.
Mhm, mhm, surely.
So, and look, I forgot to show this card because I pulled it afterwards. So I have the 9 of Swords. People know that the 10 of Swords is my death card. How I read tarot. I do not read tarot in the traditional way because I am psychic medium. So I just
Mhm.
use it more to tap into certain energies. I'm just putting it out there for the newcomers, people who have just joined this channel. But the 9 of Swords being the card
The
before the death
precursor
card.
to death. Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, and it's not, and I'll tell you what I just heard. It wasn't just that night. It wasn't that night that they said, we're going to slip something into, Whitney's drink, or we're going to give her something because this is our plan. This was something that had been going on for a while, where they were trying to take her power away, weaken her power, and just control her as best as she can. This is the 9 of Swords. I also do feel that there was another near death
Yeah, she almost
situation that
drowned in the pool the day before. That's why it was
I
crazy.
had no
She
idea.
she almost something happened to her in the pool, like, the day before.
Oh.
Then she was fine, and then the next day, which is why it was so weird that it was like water again. She gets out the pool, gets herself together, like, there's obviously stuff that happens in the timeline. Brandy gets the note, then the next day, the pool. I mean,
Interesting,
the
because I
tub, excuse
see,
me.
because she was actually supposed to die the day before. That with the
Yeah.
9 of cup, the 9 of Swords here. Let me pull. I'm being asked to pull another one, 10 of Pentacles as well. Who has the rights to her music since Bobby Christina as well passed?
Pat, I believe.
We have a motive.
Let's see.
We have a motive. Because look, this was shown to me, 10 of Pentacles. This is the inheritance. This is legacy. This is the legacy that Whitney left behind. But I want to know who's in charge. Who's got her catalog? Who's got her the rights to her music? The
A
wheel.
company called Primary Wave owns 50% of her catalog.
Okay.
Um, and then I believe they copied, so it looks like it was sold. They acquired copyrights to some of Whitney Houston's biggest hits, including How Will I Know, I Wanna Dance with Somebody. But she had co-writers, so it might be that the co-writers sold their side, because that happens a lot
Mm.
as well.
Mm.
For example, in the battle that Isaac Hayes Jr. was in with Trump because he was using his dad's music, the Isaac Hayes was the co-collaborator. So the other 50% was owned by Warner Music Group, which is why they didn't care to go after Trump, he was explaining. But he
Mm.
owns his father's percentage. So it's looking like the estate owns Whitney's percentage, and then
Mm.
Pat is over the estate. But it looks like Pat and Sissy sold to Primary Wave Publishing, music publishing.
Interesting. Shauna Michelle says that it is Pat who's the executor of the state. Interesting. Things are changing though, because I did get the wheel. So it means two things
Mm,
regarding Whitney Houston and the way she passed. So one of them is that the truth is going to kind of like come out, and we know this. We know that since the diddler was indicted, or since the Cassie situation,
mhm.
that was like a snowball effect and things were going to come to light, and we know that. So a lot more information around Whitney's death, and trust me, her energy is super 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 strong. And I remember back when I was channeling, I could feel her 2 days before I started channeling her, and 2 days after. And I did
After.
that reading with Kempire, and he had the same experience as I do. We kept texting each other, and I was like, this song, just popped up, or this, suddenly my kids were
Mhm.
like, just flipping through the channels and Bodyguard was on, or something like that. There was a lot
The
going on.
presence, yeah, was long lasting.
It was very long lasting. She has a very strong presence, just like Kim Porter, who is very much available to any medium psychic, any channel out there, because she has so much, and she is a vigilante from
So
from
can we ask her if, um
who, Kim or Whitney?
no, Whitney, ask her if, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but, like, what's the connection between Diddy's downfall and Clive? Like, are they connect is there a simultaneous energy there? I don't know how to word that. I hope that helped. You're like
Hold on.
you
So you
talk
want
for
to
a
know
living.
if there's a correlation between Diddy's downfall and
Clive Davis. Like, will Diddy's downfall now affect Clive, at least while he's still here?
he's
Like,
not
will
going to
his
be here with us much longer, by the way. That's what I just instantly, that's what I heard and came through. So no, I do not believe
it would
that
be a good
Clive.
time for him to go on with
Mhm,
Diddy falling.
that's the thing. He's not going to get his
Day of reckoning.
day of reckoning exactly, or it's before he passes, that's for sure. But it will destroy the legacy, the name, the reputation, all of it that he's left behind, and it is going to have very serious repercussions for the music industry. Because if a
Mhm.
big name like Clive Davis and all this darkness and stuff comes out, then it's, people are going to have, or artists, and up and coming artists are going to have a hard time trusting the execs.
Can we ask Clive, like, why? Why so dark? Why so nasty? Like, yes, it's greed, but where did that stem from? Why do you want it all, and why do you want to hurt and abuse, allegedly, people who are just trying to make their dreams come true?
The thing is, this is a pattern that I've been noticing with all these readings that I've been doing with a lot of these celebrities and artists, is that it's a lot of the stuff that
Mhm.
they're doing is ritualistic. And why is it ritualistic? We talked about witchcraft and all that, and people believe that, they think of Hollywood and they think like, oh, they're sucking blood and whatnot. Yeah, you do have cults that do things like that. I'm not going to touch that right now, but I will say this, that it's about power and it's about selling your soul to the devil. I have done a whole video about that, and I have discussed it.
Mhm.
It's artists themselves. I've done a really interesting video historically. I go back to when it first started, who it started with, and why this is something, it's like a recurring theme with artists. When you sell your soul to the devil, who's the devil? You're basically giving away your rights, you're giving
You're
away your
right.
power, you're giving away your soul and your spirit. And this is what they want. So Diddler's, for instance, Diddler's freak off parties, and the reason why he was abusing men, women, minors, all of it,
The
allegedly.
power.
Um, it's not a sexual thing, okay, as people think. It's not a kink, it's not a fetish, it's not, it's a power thing. It's what I tell my clients and I tell my community. When you have a one night stand, when you sleep with someone, make sure that okay, if it's a one night stand, I mean, try to avoid them in general, because you do not know someone's energy. And when you are intimate and you connect physically, you connect energetically as well. And if
Mhm.
they have a more low vibrational energy about them, they can literally sort of like override your energy, and they can have power over you, which you might not realize. But the the spiritual power that someone can have on you can be extremely,
Absolutely.
extremely powerful. This is why they do this, to answer people's question. This is why we
Mhm.
have so much ritualistic ceremonies and things happening in Hollywood, in the music industry and all that. It's not about, again,
The
it's
human
not
to
about
human, like how we would like, "Why would you do that to me?" It's about more. This question here in the comments, can we ask Whitney about the rumor that Clive wanted Jennifer Hudson to be the new Whitney? I've seen that plenty of times, and I've heard I just recently saw somebody do a TikTok, and they were channeling, and they were saying that the reason that the tragedy with, Jennifer Hudson's mom and her nephew, was
brother,
it?
right? Was it her brother as well that got
The
killed?
family members, was basically to test. It was like a test. So it was like where we're seeing Jennifer Hudson now in her talk show in season 2, and it's starting to become like this has the legs to be the next Oprah. This is what that was for, allegedly.
Mm. Mm. So you think that this whole Whitney stuff was to make room for Jennifer Hudson?
That's what I've heard. So when this person asked, which this is one of my Twitter followers, hey babe, when they asked this question, I was like, no, I've heard this before.
I'm not sure. What I'm definitely getting is that Whitney was a liability and she had to go. So it was
Mm,
just she was no longer the talent. She was losing her voice. She was too frail. She was too addicted. She was all of it. And she was talking loose lips, loose tongue, all of it. And not to the public, but she was talking to people,
behind the
her makeup
scenes.
artist, her, this and that, whoever was around her. And Bobby Brown too. But you know what? Bobby Brown, they control him because he's not gone. He's still around. Just
And
saying.
also, Clive has, if you look at all of his artists, if you listen to stories about him, he is very particular on what the women look like. This very Mariah Carey, old school Whitney Houston, slim sex cell stature. And again, last album, Whitney Houston, I think because she was more sober than she had started to put on weight. But I also
Mm.
think that that was a problem for Clive. That, and again, she was a grown woman, all of those things. I'm not body shaming her. I'm just talking to what we know about Clive and just pointing out that she was not prim and proper in leather jacket, high-waisted jeans, Whitney Houston. You know what I mean? And that could have possibly been something for him. Shauna Michelle said, but why did Bobby Christina have to go? Because that's her mom. She knew. She knew
She
everything.
knew. She knew. She
She
knew.
knew,
I
and
mean,
then her
they were
husband
best
knew, so
friends.
he had to go.
Exactly. And to me, Bobby Christina and Whitney, when I read back then, it was because I was in tears. If you go watch that channeling, I was like in tears because I was connecting to both mom and daughter. Um, they were soulmates, mom and daughter. Soulmates is not necessarily, it's not just like a man with a woman. It's not
Mhm.
just like soulmates could be a parent with a child, it could be siblings, it could be colleagues. They were soulmates. So Whitney, the only person, her best friend was Bobby Christina, and Bobby Christina's best friend was Whitney. So she was also a liability, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
And then the son who became Bobby Christina's partner was the adopted son. So again, he was in the house, he knew information, and then he was dating and betrothed to Bobby Christina. So pillow talk is there. The two of them were dangerous, and the son had become, or the husband's son had become addicted. So I also see that he could possibly like be a liability as well, because now there was no reason to have any sort of decorum.
And do you know why the music and I'll tell you this again, I know this from the inside. They do encourage artists to drink and take drugs. They do. Do you know
Absolutely.
why? It's not because they're more creative, because they can write more. Actually, it's not. It's the opposite. You don't want them being too
Mhm.
high because then you delay the production process. This all sorts of things. Why do you want them? Because that makes them weak. They're not thinking for themselves.
More malleable.
More exactly, exactly. So, and that's what happened with Whitney and Bobby. In my opinion, this doesn't come from spirit or anything. This is my opinion. I do believe that Bobby was planted there to be Whitney's husband or partner for a reason. He was a handler. And they do use, yes, they do use handlers. They do use
Wait.
handlers.
Okay, so since you said this, and this is not about anybody that we've been talking about, super conspiracy theory, just my opinion. I so truly believe that Jamie Foxx's daughter,
Mhm,
because you remember she just got married. I believe
mhm.
that's Jamie Foxx's handler.
His daughter is his handler. That's what you believe?
No, the daughter's husband
Oh, the daughter's husband.
is Jamie
Really?
Foxx's
Why?
handler.
Where, I
Okay,
mean,
so again, off
yeah,
tangent,
but
but
we want to hear your train of thought.
so Jamie Foxx goes into the hospital for, they tell us whatever, but the timelines and the things don't add up. And then remember, the daughter posted a story saying like, "Oh, he's fine. He was just playing pickleball the other day."
Mhm.
So everybody was weird. There was a content creator who made a loud noise about that and then proceeded, because they were like, this timeline doesn't match, whomever's legal team reached out to that content creator like, too much. Let's tone it back down. So then that made me think like, okay, he not just sick. You know what I mean? Again,
Mm,
as social media content creators, we talk about people all day long. We can try to pretty it up and put like a different label on it, but we're talking about people, right?
mhm.
And in a world where we talk about people and surmise things about their lives every day, why is this particular issue enough for legal to reach out? While everybody doesn't have to share everything on social media, we've never really been into Corinne Fox's dating life. This husband coming was kind of like, wait, where did you come from? And we're just like, dad just got out the hospital. We're just happy he's okay. You, as soon as he came out, announced a big collab, and now there's a man. Who is it? Who is this? Who is this? Where did he come
Mm.
from? Like it was
Yeah, that makes sense.
it was the timing of it all was a little weird. You've got some questions over here in the
I
comments.
wouldn't be surprised. Thank you. I always miss them because it's like, ask Whitney, does she ever feel regret for ever becoming a singer? So I'm not channeling, she's not here, but I can tell you from the tidbits that I remember from that channel, no, she does not regret it. That was her big love. Like, gospel singing was her thing. She was like, when she sang and when she was healthy, she was connecting to God, and that was important. So she felt that this was a God-given gift, and she loved singing for those reasons, basically. So singing was something sacred to her. And you know how we always say, let's meditate, or go do this because this will help you meditate, blah, blah, blah. Well, for her, that was singing. She went into the zone and she was connecting to God or to spirit. She saw
And
it as God. So
that's just what she did. I'm a Jersey girl.
yeah,
I'm from that area of Jersey where I've got family and friends who grew up with the Houstons. That's just who she was.
she was very much about God and gospel singing and going to the church and all that. That's where she grew up, basically. This is who Whitney is. That was her foot. So she was meant to do what she was meant to do. This was part of her contract.
Are you like I was looking at the comments they were talking about. So then somebody was like, Nick Gordon's passing was very violent compared to Whitney Houston and Bobby K. And I think that's because of what I said earlier. I think that Nick no longer had a pony in the race. I feel like his being mindful, his being respectful, him I'm going to hold on to this and kind of taunt you and say you don't want me to start talking. He lost all his reasons for doing that. You took his mom/mother-in-law, you took his sister/wife. He's coming out the gate like, yeah, MFA, this is what I got to say. And that sort of energy begets, it doesn't give, I can just, slip you something and put you in the tub. This is a fight. This is a struggle to the end.
Right. Right. Did you say she wanted to come back as a man? I don't remember that part. Probably I do. You'll probably remember it more than I do, Danny. Probably. I don't know. I'm not
We
gonna
can't
back up.
ourselves. We can't. We can't.
I can. If someone else wants to do it for me, please do, and just give me the cliff notes. I'll be very, I'll be very appreciative. All right, we should keep going because we have so much stuff going on.
Okay.
So, regarding Clive, do we have Clive Davis? Clive, he's not my bestie, that's for sure. Clive Davis, do we have any I
Like
think that
there's
really sort of sheds light, though, to the whole Whitney situation.
to the whole thing. It's just like
Yeah.
I feel about like Clive the way I feel about Diddy. I believe that you did everything them people say you did. I don't like there's nothing that would come to shock me. And again, like you said, he's 92. Even if he does go down, it's gonna give Harvey Weinstein in court. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about, because a lot of people say, okay, so the diddler, because I call him the diddler. I do not want to call him
mhm,
Diddy anymore. I'm done with
I
that.
call him Papa
Uh,
Diddy Pop.
love it. Yeah. Well, the diddler, because people keep asking me, so did the diddler learn from Clive Davis? Like, is he just following Clive Davis's footsteps? My answer is no. He did learn about how you can have power over people. Yes, that he learned from Clive Davis very well, but it doesn't mean that Clive Davis was sleeping with minors or having these freak off
Mhm.
parties.
Oh, of course,
He
of course.
I'm just saying, evil man, greedy man, selfish man, all of it, all of it. But it's not necessarily that Diddy is a mini Clive Davis. Okay, two different people, two different things.
They
Diddler,
exerted their powers in different ways. Diddy
exactly.
wanted to be I feel like, um and this is not I just wanna say this is not a justification for anything that Clive Davis may or may not have done. However, I feel like Clive is more of a dirty corporate man, like a dirty politician, if you will,
Thank
whereas
you.
Diddy wanted to use his power and all of that to be the front person, to be the showman. He wanted the glitz, the glam, like I feel like Diddy and his downfall is the equivalent of Denzel Washington wearing the fur coat to the game in American Gangster. You get what I'm saying? Like
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
he wanted people to know, whereas Clive is like, you can ask about me. I don't have to tell you a thing.
I agree with your take. It's more of this, like, big shot head honcho, man who just does all of because he's got the power and he can, all
Mhm.
of that. He wasn't known to be nice to people. He wasn't known to be nice to his employees, to his.
But you said that your encounter with Janice Combs wasn't a nice one, or
No, it
your story
wasn't.
of her. So
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And then I got psychically attacked and I was sick for 2 days. Yeah, that you didn't know. Yeah, after that reading, because I was tuning into her energy and then she totally attacked me psychically. Crazy. No, Janice, not a good vibe. I said this even before, when I shared the story. It was before things came out that she, like, that did the diddler had put in all his properties and assets into her name, and that she
mhm.
was in charge. She was the one who signed the charter contract. She was the one who was negotiating. She was the one. It was almost like you couldn't speak to him directly. You had to go through Janice. So you couldn't. And no, her energy very bad. Trust me. And I say this, I rarely say this about people because I always try to see the good and there's always light and darkness in everyone. But no, this was pure darkness. So yeah.
I believe that. Are we on to Corey and his connection to the diddler?
Let's do Corey then. Let's bring Corey Gamble.
Okay,
What do
so
you know about Corey? Please give us some deeds because
that's exactly what I was gonna tell you. My knowledge of Corey and y'all I'm used my audience be attacking me, so I'm used to mine. I had to preference all of my statements because they be like, "No, that's not." Like, okay, whoa.
you're safe here. You're safe here.
This is a safe space. So I know of Corey as kind of like the industry like muscle, right? He was with Bieber. He was bodyguard for Bieber for a minute, but in Bieber's young days. And I think that's why that's important because in Bieber's young days, Bieber was being handled by Usher. Usher learned his way around the industry from Diddy. So I believe that there is like, you go back to your mentors, if you will, if you have any questions, or you go to your mentor's playbook because it worked for
Right.
Usher, you know?
Right.
So I know him as that. I know that him and Kim Porter allegedly were good friends, and that's why some people say that he was at her house when she passed. That's why he's in like those forensic pictures. And not because of his correlation to Diddy. And then I know that he is Kris Jenner's man. And I know that the Jenners helped Simpson get away with it, allegedly.
Everything's alleged, but we've got the, disclaimer down there just in case. Yeah, I just don't get, this man. There's definitely something that I don't like about him. The thing is, he's hard to read. He's hard, even,
It's an
I'm not saying I
enigma wrapped
can't
in a
read him.
riddle.
I do believe, I'll tell you, he gives me the creeps. It does not. Speaking of Kris Jenner,
He gives me, sorry to cut you off, industry coat writer. Like, he's that friend that came in with the artist that got signed, and he didn't have anything to do with it. He was just always right there. And you can't read his energy, because if you read it, then you'll have to know that, like, I really don't have any purpose here.
Good point. Good point. He feels like he made his career just being the guy who would do things for people. They were like, oh, I know a guy who knows a guy, and then he would be that type of guy. Also, no chemistry with the Kris Jenner. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know they've been together, what, like 6, 7 years? How long have they been together?
It's like close to a decade now, for sure.
Make it make sense. And it's nothing to do with the age difference. I don't care about the age difference. There's no chemistry. There's nothing.
Someone said that Corey is Jenner's handler. That's an interesting perspective.
Well, let's read. Let's ask the cards. Let's ask the cards.
That's a great perspective.
FYI, he's a Scorpio.
Of course he is.
He was born on the 5th of November, one day after Diddler.
What would be...
Oh...
why would Jenner need to be handled, though? Like, what's the thing, right? Like, we think that Kenneth is Nikki's handler because we think that Nikki has an addiction, right? We think that I think that the husband, is Jamie Foxx's handler because something clearly weird happened with him inside of the hospital and when he came out. Why would Kris Jenner need to be handled? That's what we would have to figure out. Oh,
what if it's not Kris?
Handler?
Yeah, but okay, hear me out. Okay, this is
yes, say it.
You know what? We're in sync out. We just talked telepathically, the two of us. What if he's not the handler?
That made me hot.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps.
Oh my
Stop.
God. Oh my God. Look, in the chat, it's probably like, girl, let us in. We don't know what y'all talking about.
I love it. Yeah, okay. This is my theory. I'll pull the cards, but my theory is he's not the handler. Kris wants him there for a reason, because he is there to protect her from something. He's collateral damage for something. Just saying. Wait, I'm pulling the cards.
Oh my goodness. These handler theories are on point.
The Chariot, the Fool. Hold on. The Chariot. Oh, okay. King of Wands. So we know he's a Scorpio, so he's a water sign. So who's the King of Wands here? What's Kris? Do you remember her sign? I think this is her, which comes up as male energy
as well. Part of what I thought you was going to say too, though, is I thought you was going to say he was there to handle one of the kids.
Oh, that's what you thought I was going to say. No.
And yes, she's November 5th as well. They have the same birthday. I told you she was November.
Mind blown. Well,
she comes up. Corey came in the picture at the peak of the Kylie Tyga situation, which is why I thought you were going to. I do think that I agree with you, and I was on the same page with you. I think that he's disposable, right? Like he's good collateral damage, but I also thought you were going to say that he was there because of the Jenner, Tyga, all of that.
Oh, I don't feel that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't feel it has to do with the kids. I don't feel it has to do with the kids, but I will tell you, because this is Kris's energy. The Kris's card comes up as the King of Wands. So more masculine energy. We all have feminine, masculine energy. We tap into more into one or the other, depending on what we're going through, or, what kind of energy we want to put out there. Now, the Chariot, you guys, contrary to what you think, Corey's not I'm not saying he's a good guy, but he's not. I do not feel that he is her handler because he's he has control. Like, I'm gonna say this. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of it. That's why I need I'm sort of like not
No,
making
take your
sense at the
time.
moment. Okay.
While
Hmm,
you're thinking about it, someone said in the chat, "How can he be muscle? He doesn't look like he has muscle." I think the best way to describe Corey is you have to think about it like Corey is the guy who knows somebody who knows something about it.
he'll have things like he knows the right people to get things done.
Yep, he doesn't have to do it. It's gonna get done though.
It's gonna get done. Okay, so this is her, this is him. So he does have, like, I do feel that he does advise her. She does sometimes listen to her. So it means that he does have some kind of influence, not 100% influence, but some kind of influence over Chris Jenner. Yes, he does. Here's the thing. He's using Chris because he wants to, this is the full card. This is, I want to like scrap my past. I want to rebrand myself, reimagine myself, and I want to be
Mm.
part of the Kardashian clan and Chris because of her power. And combined together, her power, her business mind, and the way that she does things, and his way of, you know, knowing
The
people and finding
loopholes.
ways to get things, he's going to make money from it, and he is making money from this relationship. This feels very much like a business transactional relationship to me, because look, the four of pentacles, he is making his coin through
But
this relationship.
doing what?
Lovers, I wouldn't be surprised he has someone else allegedly, and you heard it here first.
Oh, Pixie just said there's more of a chemistry between Corey and Kylie.
I've heard that, which is disturbing to say the least, if that's true.
Oh,
But
ooh.
he's not faithful. He's got someone. He's got a side piece. But do
But
you
is it
consider
not faithful? Right, exactly.
that
Is
we were
it
going to say the same thing? Yeah. Is it a side piece if you're not in a relationship?
is it a side piece if it's allowed? Because
Yeah.
I definitely think that Chris got her own. I don't think that Corey be going out doing whatever he be doing and she be sitting at home like, what time is he coming in? Nah. This is also
No.
Kris Jenner who did not know that her husband was dressing up in her clothes. Like she is
Good point.
not an attentive, like,
No.
mm-mm. But again, the question becomes helping do what? Why was he at the scene of the crime for um Kim's passing? Why did him and Kobe look so close and so cushiony at that party right before his death? Like, because okay, yeah, you're Kris Jenner's boyfriend. That's cool. That means you get to be arm around Kobe Bean Bryant.
True. I'll ask the cards for that, but I want to just add one thing about Corey regarding the Kris Jenner that I'm getting now. He wants to, so everything, as I said before, it feels to me that it's all like it's a strategy, right? So there is a plan behind all this. It's a business exchange, it's a business
For sure.
transaction. All right. I also get the emperor, which is the strategy, and he wants to be the next Diddler, the next
The head,
Kanye, the
yeah.
next. By the way, isn't it crazy that he reminds me of Kanye sometimes? Like, depends how you see him, like in certain things. Like, he gives me a little bit of
Because he wants
Kanye.
to be. Yes, for sure.
Like, he wants to be. So
100%.
all of this is a strategy, and there is a long-term plan with Corey. And I'm gonna ask about Kim, about him and being there when Kim was found.
He does own a security company, Anne
Oh, he
Marie said
does?
so. Or he did, at least that I knew of. At one point he did. I'm not gonna say what he does today.
I mean, I don't know. We all know what usually these security companies are involved in very shady stuff.
Hello, the twin brother of the former, police commissioner in New York. That's the guy that
Mhm.
got wrapped up in allegedly the Diddler stuff.
Shauna says that didn't Kanye say that allegedly that Corey's like works for the CIA or something like that?
Yep.
Wasn't he screaming that from the rooftops?
Mhm, mhm.
Well, you know what? Before I ask the Kim question, I'll ask this question. Does he have connections to CIA,
Mm.
FBI,
No,
any
that's a
kind,
great question.
any
That's a
government
great question.
secret thing, maybe? Okay.
And that goes along with the music industry being fed by the police and all of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Come through for entertainment purposes and entertainment purposes only, okay? We making this
Oh
all
yeah.
up.
Five of Wands, Three of He's definitely working with someone though. I got the Three of Pentacles for those who read tarot. So Three of Pentacles is being a team working with someone
Mhm.
for they have a purpose. Five of Wands, kind of like, and Queen of Wands. Are they investigating Chris Jenner?
Mm.
Do they have things on Chris?
That's one hell of a long investigation. Oh my
My God,
god.
I know. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know. I do not believe the rumors or the thing that's going around, the theory that's going around that he's working for the CIA. No. He's working though with someone, two other people though, not Chris Jenner, two other people who he's close with, he's partnering with, or he's working with. And
Siphoning
like,
information.
one of them is abroad, lives abroad. So not in the US. It could be Bermuda, it could be Mexico, it could be Canada, it could be Europe, wherever. One of them
Mm.
is abroad and the devil. There you go. There you go. Does that answer your question?
Mm.
He doesn't work for the CIA or the FBI and all that. This guy works for the darkness.
Clive Davis. You see how that all just came? No, I'm just
No, well, but you know what? They learn. They learn when you are working for or shadowing or even being a bodyguard for someone who's evil. Okay, you learn the tricks of the trade. You learn how to manipulate people. You learn all
That's
that.
true.
You're so sucked into that darkness and that energy that if you're not strong enough to kind of like push yourself out of that and stay with the light, you can follow suit.
And I also think it's very interesting and telling. Number one, a lot of music celebrities are telling you that there's not money in the music industry like that
Mhm.
anymore. And then if what they're saying isn't enough, you're seeing like I say this all the time. If music was profitable, you don't think that Rihanna would have given us R7? We would
Oh.
have gotten that 7th album from Rihanna if that was a profitable place for her to make money. Her not giving us that album says to me that it ain't worth it. You know what I mean? So I think that you also have to look at all of these celebrities who we know as music stars who are no longer participating in the music.
Mhm. And also, ask yourself this, why isn't that more artists cannot take their catalogs and leave record labels and start their own?
Mhm.
Think about that. Why aren't they doing it? Kesha did eventually after years and years and years of going against Scooter Brown. So, but why? Because I tell you, those contracts that they sign, that's selling your soul to the devil. You're
For
giving away
sure.
your life. You're giving everything away because they do have these clauses that says that you cannot do that. If Sony, whoever, Atlantic doesn't, Death Row, whoever, if they're paying for your CD, for your album to be produced and done, they own that. You
But
cannot
it's
take it and leave. And also
you
there's a
can't take
guardian clause. You cannot leave.
You can't take it and leave. And then there's also the same thing happening in reality TV, which I'm making the Corey Gamble
Right.
connection on both sides, the music and the TV. Brandy Glanville, and it's not really a lot of days that I use her as a reference, but Brandy Glanville just
Another
released a
Scorpio.
podcast. Podcast, she definitely is. And she was saying, stick with me. She was saying that the housewives are done, right? You can't say anything anymore without getting sued. And then that gets to the point where now your lawyers begin looking at the contracts and saying, is this really beneficial to you? And she went on to talk about how the contract that she and all of these other housewives signed is so shitty that one would
Mhm,
have to be in a place of desperation in order to sign it. Nobody signs it and they're not desperate in some facet. I say
mhm,
that to say again, to you're selling your soul. Once you sign that, those housewives, any merch that they put out since they've been on the show belongs to the housewives, and the same on the reality shows, not just the housewives. And so this space is also filled with taken advantage of. Like it just it
Mhm.
derives from that place. Like it doesn't seem like the launch pad is clean.
Mhm. Mhm. That's for sure. Let me just say this, because while you were talking, I was picking up Kim Porter's energy, and I did pull some cards regarding Corey. And I just asked, like, was he around? Was he there? What was going on? Was he in the room? Like, what? And I'm getting he wasn't in the room, but he was standing outside the
And
building.
those are the pictures. I've
Oh,
got them.
really?
I
Oh,
have the
okay.
pictures. Hold on.
And then
Oh
I've got
my God.
okay, while you're looking for those pictures, I'll just show the cards. And then I had the Seven of Cups. And as you guys know, illusions. Seven of Cups is about illusions. Don't believe everything you hear, everything you
Mhm.
see. And then the Three of Swords. So regarding Kim, and for anyone who's interested, I've channeled Kim a lot, came through. I did it, I believe, with Kempire. So please go over to my channel, use the search box at Kim Porter's name, and you'll find the video easier and faster. But I
We
do see
stand organization.
three people. Three were involved.
Where is this picture? I had to
Three
go
were
find that
involved.
sign.
Four of Wands that with Kim. Yeah, because I do believe Kim was in my opinion, allegedly was
Here we
unalived.
go.
Oh,
This is Corey Gamble right
yeah.
outside. You see the corner.
Oh, I
In the
do.
gray hat is Corey Gamble. That is him
Outside the building.
outside
That's
at
what she's showing me. That he was
Mhm.
outside. He wasn't inside. He was outside. But what was he doing? Was he keeping tabs?
What was
Was
he doing?
what was he doing? Was he blocking from people entering? Was he keeping tab? Like, what was he doing? Let me see if I can find out.
That is so crazy. We're like, yeah, he's outside. I was like,
Crazy. And of Wands. Yeah,
I
that's what
love
he
how
was
you
doing.
always I was reading the comments. Mr. Trigger Batty says, I love how it always comes back to housewives.
Now, I reference Housewives a lot too. I mean, that's part of our lives. Come on, we're reality TV junkies. So, okay, Nine of Wands, he was there to protect someone. He was there going back to the security business and all that. He was there to protect someone. So he was there in front of the building, protecting someone, making sure no one was going in and out, witnesses too. Just saying, he wasn't the one who did it, but he was definitely the one who protecting person did it.
Yes. And thank you, Ebony. I was letting Natalie finish. Kim said that Kim's friends say that some of her personal items were missing.
Yeah, I know. Kim told me that when I channeled her. Yeah, yeah. Luckily, her manuscript and her book is safe, and there are 3 or 4 copies. And she said that she's cut it like the book. It's a whole book, but she's cut it in like 3 or 4 parts. So you
Nobody
cannot
has the
have the
whole
full
thing.
book unless you find all of them. And so at least that's safe. But yeah, she told me that items were missing, and those were personal items. Something was of her mom's as well.
It was
That
like a
was
bracelet or something, right?
yeah, it was a piece of jewelry. I don't remember now, but it was a piece of jewelry. And
Mhm.
she was very upset because they knew they were doing. They did that.
Thank you, because this is what I found ironic was in the OJ case, there was a briefcase handoff that happened at the scene of the crime, and it felt very Corey being at Kim's felt very
Hmm.
reminiscent to OJ. And now again, for those of you who don't know, Kris Jenner, her kids, uh um Nicole Simpson, they called her Aunt Nikki, Nicole Simpson, OJ, and Robert, they had all went on a vacation. They went on a vacation. They came back home. It was like 2 days later, everybody was back at their homes, and then the tragedy happened. So everybody was confused. But again, remember, Robert Kardashian was on the legal team. These are friends. I don't know how the age difference. I don't know where Corey would have been at that time in life, but I do know, just like we were talking about Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina, when certain plays work in certain spaces, the people in power, and that's why absolute power corrupts absolutely. They run the same play until they just get sloppy. That's all that happens. They just keep running the same play. It worked before, it worked again. That's why there's so many similarities. There's
I
nothing
mean,
new.
I agree with you. If you look at like Russia, I mean, this is random, but not random. It's really connected. I mean, that's our MO. Like these people, businessmen are falling off balconies from hotels and stuff. It's because it works, you know, that's
Yeah.
their ritualistic unaliving.
Yep.
That's the way they want to do it. They will do it. It's a pattern. It's a just like the bathtubs. Look at Brittany Murphy, another reading in another channel that I've done that you can check on my channel. Brittany Murphy as well is a big question mark, right? Do you remember what came through? Yeah, well, Brittany's.
Oh, the mom and the Brittany Murphy
What?
story is crazy. The idea that her mom might have been in on it with her then boyfriend, who then also ended up passing away, and so they think that the mom cleared house. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to reveal, but you better go watch that reading because it does. That's, you know what's interesting, Al? I was telling this to my community the other day that it's funny. The last 3 years I've been doing these channels and these videos that are now all
Just
starting to
relevant.
connect together. And it's almost like if you have to go back and watch these readings and start seeing how they're all connecting together. It's almost like spirit was leading me that way. I'm just saying, crazy.
I was gonna reference a death when right before you said Brittany Murphy. I had a name on the tip of my tongue that is just like gone, but it was another one that was like.
The reason why I mentioned Brittany Murphy was because she was another bathtub death.
Incident, yeah. But I was going to say it wasn't bathtub, but I was going to say if you remember before Mr. Epstein was unalive, there was an attempt, maybe like at least 7 days before the actual, there was an alleged attempt.
Oh, I did. I don't remember that. I don't.
Yes. So what happened was he was in Gen Pop. My theory is this is how they got him like isolated. So he wasn't unalived, like in solitary confinement, but he had been moved to a more privatized area because of this attempt. Then he gets moved to that area. Then the guards were off, the cameras weren't working, blah, 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 blah. And now he's no longer here with us. It made me think, I watched too much TV. It made me think of that movie with Jamie Foxx. I can not remember the name of it, but the guy was in prison and he asked for a steak. And he kept escaping from prison to do these murders, and they couldn't figure it out because he was in jail. And he asked for a steak, and he got the steak, and he wanted to eat it with a knife. And the reason that he wanted the knife is because he used the knife to then do something else. But it was the long game of what I really want is the utensils that comes with the steak. But I got you so figured out, trying to figure out why I want steak, why I want it from this place, because he made it like detailed. It's like one of those, like, I want something to eat and I want you to hear and I need it to be at this temperature. And now you're so busy trying to figure out why all those things are important. But really, I just want the cup. And that's what I think this is.
Yeah. Well, see, these are all breadcrumbs, basically. These are all breadcrumbs. And, stop with the conspiracy theories. I keep saying this every time I go live. Stop calling people conspiracy theorists because as you can see now, is it a conspiracy theory or is it a hunch?
Or are we just like, again, no, it wasn't called Silence of the Lamb. It's also not called Double Jeopardy.
No, it wasn't. Jamie Foxx wasn't in the Silence.
Yeah. It's Jamie Foxx and like this white guy. I can't think of the name of it. It's a really good movie. Oh man, I'm gonna look it up because you guys should really watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Just if you're looking for a movie recommendation. Yeah.
Because people say, yeah, Chris gives off. So I want to also add to what you said about JE. Here it is that when was this? Back in March, when I did a reading on the Diddler with Campire, I did say that I do not see prison time. Yes, he's in jail now, detention, jail, whatever, but not prison because I do believe that he's going to fake his death or there is going to be an unaliving, just like JE. So
I said YMCA.
You said the same thing. Of course you did. You're a Scorpio. You are a witch in the good sense. because
He's not.
people,
The
yeah.
name of the movie is called Law Abiding Citizen. It is so
Oh,
good.
I remember that. It's such a good movie.
That is such a great,
I've got to
great
go back
movie.
and watch it again. It's been so long though.
I said that about Diddy, and I said that about Trump. It's a personality type. Like,
Yeah.
I think if Trump ever had to go down for any of his crimes, he'd be like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not gonna do this with y'all. And I feel
Mhm.
like Diddy is the same way. I feel like
Oh yeah,
either
he's not
it
gonna sit there and get it.
no,
No,
it's his ego will not let him be on trial, sitting there on the trial. No, 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 no. And then you're
no,
gonna
no.
pull out all of these things that I know I did. You're gonna present me with the evidence that I know is gonna land me right back here. Let's wrap this the fuck up. Y'all not letting me out? Okay.
And have you noticed the synchronicity? Because I don't believe in coincidence. Everything's a
Mm-hmm.
synchronicity. The
Everything
synchronicity,
for
A, with the birthdays, 4th of November. So we have the Diddler being 4th of November. Then we have, oh, I don't remember all of them now.
Chris and Corey. I mean, sorry, Chris and Corey Gamble are November
4th.
5th.
No, but there's a
5th.
lot of fours. There's a lot of fours with the birthdays and 25s with the deaths.
There's
So
definitely a lot of fours in the industry too.
a lot of fours in the industry. And here's the funny part is didn't they just set, it's not funny actually, the irony or even the, let's say the synchronicity. Didn't they set the trial for the 5th of May?
I didn't know there was
Cinco
a
de
trial date.
Mayo? Is it Cinco de Mayo that they're doing the thing? I need
I
to
saw
check
something
because
with the ninth. I
I don't
just
know. I saw a 5. So if it is indeed, hear me out, you guys, because I did a quick thing. 5th of May, 2025. So 4 plus 5 makes 9, plus 2, because it's 2025, makes 11, plus 2, 3, plus 5. Oh God, I lost it. 18? No. Oh my God, I just lost it now.
I was reading, so I
I
can't
wasn't
even
strong in
help.
math, I can tell you. I mean, you guys can say. Yes, they did say. So 5th of May, let me calculate. So
Yep, 5th
5,
of May. Yep.
it's a 10. So 5, 5 is a 10. And then we have 4, 14. And then we have 5, 1 plus 5, 6. Oh my God. Now I don't know why it's
Wait,
not
what were
coming out.
you adding?
I was
The
adding the numerology of the date because I remember when it first came, like when I saw the date, or I think I saw the 5th of May.
No, yeah,
Maybe I
you
saw
did.
it spiritually.
So 5 and
Oh, it
5
is
is 10.
okay. Everyone's saying it is
5
the
and
5th.
5 and 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12. That way, like plus 0 is none, plus 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19.
19, and then 1 plus
9 is 10.
19, 1 plus, and then it's 1 plus, it's a 10, and then it's a 1. That's the master number.
Mm, gotcha.
That's karma, baby, for Diddler. Everything
That's
is going to come back
interesting.
to everything is going to come back to square one. Not square zero, square one,
Square
the beginning
one.
of it all, the master number, the most powerful number of the universe and the cosmos. Just saying. Yeah, 19. Yeah, 19 makes 1 plus 9 makes 10. Just to have a single digit is 1. So there you go. Totally random. I just wanted to share because
No, that's
everything
not random.
is
That's
important.
interesting.
Everything is important. Everything is a sign. It is. Everything is a sign. Every little thing. Do not disregard things that you see. Do not disregard them as conspiracy theory, because again, it's not conspiracy theory anymore when we're starting to get all the receipts and the facts.
It's
And we're
all
seeing that
connected.
it's all connected. It's all connected. Corey's a Scorpio. I know. I know. And the thing is with Scorpios, they're very, very loyal. They're very, there's the mystique about them. But they're loyal. So whoever Corey is working for, whoever he is working with, he's loyal. He will not betray them. He is not.
He's
The
working for the
diddler,
devil.
though, is a different story. Another Scorpio. The diddler is going to try to save his own skin.
Himself. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I
So
also don't think that the diddler was working for anybody. I feel like he might have been working in
I agree.
conjunction too. There might have
I
been
agree.
people that helped him be the monster that he is, but he was working for himself.
100%, I agree. 100%, because people said, okay, is it Clive Davis? Says, no, 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 no. This is Diddler. This is all him. The issue here is not who's above him. It's like, what does he know
What is
about
it now?
the
It's the same thing with
celebrities?
JE. It was the black book that had to be protected. And it's not just celebrities. And I think that's the thing that I want people to understand, like, because it's not. When Diddy went down for that nightclub shooting and he let Shine take the fall for it, and I don't want to minimalize or trivialize anybody's life, that was important, it was significant, but it was very small. It only affected the hip hop community, right? This
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
incident, even when if you go back to 91, we can go pound for pound Diddy incidents. You go back to 91 where he was promoting the club event and he oversold it and it ended up being a stampede and then people got hurt. I believe somebody lost their life that day. Again, these were concentrated hip hop issues. You have to think hip hop and let's just be real, black people taking over the music industry is relatively new. This is a place where
mm-hmm,
it was gate kept and we didn't have a lot of black celebrities. And when you look at like the Billboard charts, they were segregated, right? So him being here is new. But what did he say? And I put a clip in this in one of my videos in an old like 2002 ET interview, is what he liked to do specifically at his parties was bring both sides. So he liked
mm-hmm,
having police commissioners there and corporate people there and VPs there brushing shoulders with a hip hop artist from Harlem who would never otherwise be in a room with a politician or, uh, um, so a member of parliament and all of these regal figures. He liked doing that. I personally think it was for the blackmail purpose. I think he saw the leverage in it. But I say that to say we're not just talking about Benny Siegel and Jay-Z and Busta Rhymes and all of that. We are talking about the same level of people that we were talking about when it was J.E.
mm-hmm,
And that's why it's become as dangerous as it is and as much of a media circus as it is.
mm-hmm.
If we was just talking about little old black people, y'all rest assured it wouldn't be heavy headlines like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Unfortunately, we're still at that society. It's still at a point that you're unfortunately right about that. That if it was someone not Diddler and someone much smaller in scale and in influence, and they were black, then obviously that would have been sort of
It
like swept under the rug for
it
sure.
would have been.
They
Or
would
just
have been.
concentrated to like BT and the Shade Room. This would
Right.
not be breaking news on CNN.
I agree, but here we are. Everyone, it's a huge web, the one that the diddler has created now. And I do believe that, yeah, I do believe things are gonna I do not believe there's gonna be a trial. I don't know why. This is what
Because
I
someone
keep
said
getting
that they
this
don't think
feeling.
he's gonna make it until May.
No.
Did Kim leave us?
Kim, I feel her energy. She wasn't like, I wasn't channeling, like she wasn't forward, but if you have questions, go ahead and I'll see what comes through.
I want to know because we know the personal effects are missing. We know why he was there. But what a significance could have been taken? Because we know it wasn't the manuscript. We know it wasn't the jewelry. What did she have that could have been of significance that we're willing to put Corey Gamble in front of the house for?
So regarding the items that were taken, what I am hearing is that it's not that those were significant or they needed to take them. This was again a power thing, and this was like a trophy. It's like,
Ooh.
ooh, and
Like a
I've said
notch
this
on the belt.
exactly, exactly. And it does feel to me that all these people, the diddler and whoever else allegedly who were involved, and I've said this when I was channeling Kim because I could see tunnels. And I know that there are
And
stories
then you
about tunnels.
saw no, not stories, you saw them.
I
And then the
literally
one girl
saw them.
came forward and said that that's how they transport specifically the underage kids.
The underage kids, and I do believe that they are like catacombs or some kind of catacombs under the like where these tunnels take you, where they are hiding some of the footage and some of these personal belongings that seem to be to me like trophies. You know how serial killers, when they like,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
they unalive someone and they just need to
Keep
have something
something.
from their victim to
Or
remind them.
abusers keep, like, the underwear or something. But so all of this was over the book, like, her just being loose-lipped, if you will, ready to tell her story? Because, like, I guess where I'm trying to get to is I understand the power, but I don't understand the play of nobody from Uptown Records being around anymore. Corey's gone. I mean, not Corey, Kim's gone, Andre's gone. Like, and Diddy is the only standing member from Uptown. Heavy D, Diddy, and I'll Be Sure. So it was Andre
Mhm,
Harrell, Heavy D,
mhm,
Kim Porter, Diddy, and I'll Be Sure. I'll Be Sure
mhm.
and Diddy are the only two left.
True.
Like,
Why?
yeah, I guess I'm struggling saying why because I do understand that people will clearly do anything to keep their secrets. If you're talking, then you're just a liability. And I get that we don't like value life in those spaces like that. But I'm just like, did she
Let me
come to him and was like, I'm about to lay your shit bare? Like,
Listen, let me say it differently. This, I do not feel that Kim was the first or the last. And when you realize that you have the power to do something as horrible as take someone's life, you don't it you do it. You're arrogant. He's arrogant. He was arrogant. You know, he
mhm,
was like, I can do this. Like, she pissed me off. She's
I
threatening
can
me
do
with a
this.
book. She smells like trouble. I don't want this headache on my head. Let's get rid of her, or whoever it is. He's gotten arrogant. That's why we're here now talking about him. And that's why he's in jail, because he got arrogant. He believed that his power, his mom's witchcraft, his voodoo, his all of it was going to keep him safe. But light, God's spirit, works in
So let me
different
ask
ways
you
and much
this.
more powerful.
Last time we talked last year, we were talking, I told you that Sloan did a reading
Mhm,
or channeling, and she channeled
mhm,
Kim, and she said that Kim was saying that there was a female in the industry that she told kind of like her whole story to, and it was
mhm,
supposed to be girl chat, but that lady ended up telling her husband. The chat is asking
mhm.
about a Kim Porter Jay-Z connection. And quite like you, because I don't like to really go back, I don't remember where we landed there in terms of like, were you talking to Beyonce? And I'm not asking that deeply or specific of a question, but like, did we get any clarity on the who the friend was that she was confiding in, or if there was a Kim Porter Jay-Z connection?
Okay, I didn't get a name for the friend, okay? I didn't go when I
Mhm.
was connecting, but that is also to protect her. I
Of
mean,
course,
spirit
of
knows
course.
what they're doing, and just to be clear to people, when readers, psychic mediums connect to spirit, sometimes we don't get all the information at once. It's because you have to wait for things to unfold, or spirit or the soul, whoever you're connecting to, needs to wait until the public, people are ready to hear the information that's coming through. Just saying. I did
To
not get a name.
somebody said, I hope it's not Kimora. So Kimora wasn't married. She had not yet married that
Mm,
the scam guy. So at that particular time or when this it would have happened, Kimora would have been single, which is why a lot of people were speculating that it was Beyonce. Me personally, I didn't have a speculation. I just knew she said it.
yeah,
Um
I don't feel it's Beyonce, no.
no,
I don't
but
feel that. Yeah.
I never felt that it was Beyonce. And again, not because like, oh man, that's so precious. It never gave that, and again, all of the people who do channelings, all the people who claim to know say, like you said, there is this barrier between
Mm,
Jay-Z and Beyonce. She a Kim Porter, and not any disrespect to her, but the likes of Kim Porter would have never gotten that close to Beyonce to be able to be
mm,
sharing that
mhm.
on a regular basis like that.
Um, so to answer your question, what was her relationship to Jay-Z? Is that sort of like the
Mhm,
really okay.
mhm,
Um, so she definitely did not like him. She got like creeped out by him, and she's basically what she's showing me, like when he was back then, when he was younger, he was a lot more like in your face. He was very much like a hothead. He was like he was volatile. You never knew what you're gonna get with Jay-Z. It seems to me that they had some kind of intimacy and they were intimate. I don't know if this is something public knowledge, but this is what's coming through. Um, that there was, but it wasn't because she wanted to, if you will, but there's peer pressure in those circles, and especially back then, and especially if you're up and coming artist. She's what I do know though is Jay-Z's definitely next. And I know Sloan has been talking about
Mhm.
this. And I agree
Next
100%.
month, according to Sloan.
I feel maybe even sooner, maybe even
Before
because I feel it's coming, like literally.
on our test. Ebony, we see yours. I wanna get to that, and I wanna honor that. Just really quickly,
Mhm.
Mr. Trigger Batty asked if we can ask him about Jaguar Right, and I thought that was really interesting.
Where's the question? Hold on, so I can bring it
Um,
back.
one 2 above
Totally.
Ebony's.
Oh, found it. Totally off the wall. Can we ask him about Jaguar? Right. Okay. I've read Jaguar. I want to say that most of the stuff that she said,
Oh, I didn't
well,
know you read her. Ugh.
yes, yes, yes. I did. I think it was on a members. I don't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm gonna just tell you what I got. So, I do believe that a lot of what Jaguar is saying is correct. Is right. I do feel that since Fame has gotten she has gotten a little bit out
Embellish.
there. I do feel that she embellishes now because she wants to keep the attention and she wants to keep things going. But there are a lot of truths. Now, people have asked me before, I mean, how would she know all that? You know, she wasn't close. She was in the industry. If I know crap and I wasn't even an artist and I was just working, I was just like a marketing, I was just my job, I was called a strategic marketing coordinator. That was my title back in Sony. If I know things, okay, and I wasn't even an artist and I wasn't even an
She
exec,
knows things.
she knows things because she's been at the parties, she knows people, and it's a small world. It really is. I truly believe that Jaguar, she just needs to stop. My opinion right now, she needs to stop. She needs to take a breather. She needs to get off, especially after the Piers Morgan stuff. All
Mhm.
of that doesn't bode well for Jaguar right now. Not for Beyonce or Jay-Z either, because people are like, what are they hiding? Why are they going after Pierce? You know, why not Jaguar? All of that.
I
So
do wanna answer that.
yeah,
So, the Pierce Morgan came in because Pierce Morgan is on a network that can be sued. A portion
sure.
of Pierce's show is owned by Fox, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, so there
Mhm.
is a platform here, right? As per the laws and the rules, we could be sitting here talking about this, Beyoncé and Jay-Z cannot come and sue YouTube for what we are talking about. And they're not going to come into us because they're not going to waste their time in court with us, right?
Mhm.
However, Pierce Morgan had a platform that could be sued. There was something there. You sue Rupert Murdoch for allowing this in, and his estate, his net worth is like 23.5 billion.
Mm.
So there was a reputable source. And then also, as much as we like to be professional and all of that in the world of journalism, we are not considered a reputable sources. Pierce Morgan is because he has that Fox backing. And when you are considered a reputable source, the rules are different. People
Mhm.
can't just come on your thing to say that. So, what Jaguar, where her misstep was, is she finally said some of those lies or some of her embellishments on a place that had footing to be sued.
Yeah, she got carried away, and that's the issue. And she spoke with conviction, which is like, don't do
A
that.
big
Even
no
if
no.
you know all that stuff, when there is a trial, you just don't. You just, you just everything's alleged. I just
Get
want to bring up
Ebony's.
Ebony's. Thank you, Ebony, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. The public thinks Diddy has a lot of bodies, so image what the inner circle actually knows. Mary said Aaliyah was days after her death. Mary said Aaliyah was
Mary
so
said
that
that Aaliyah was murdered days after.
wait, let me digest this. So what Mary's saying is that Aaliyah did not die in the plane crash, but it happened after. So that was like a diversion. Is that what you're understanding from the question?
That's interesting.
Well, let me just say that in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I do believe that there are a lot of bodies around. And not all of them. That's the thing. We're focusing on the celebrities, the artists, and stuff.
Mhm.
What about the people that are not famous that have been around the diddler? How about the people who were around during the parties? I don't
The
want us
security
to forget
guards,
about
the
them.
housekeepers, and please remember also in the lawsuit, it said that the housekeepers and the people who witnessed some of this behavior, they were also like threatened and all of these things. So I know, like, yes, I think the Jimmy Iovine's, the Neos, the people who have power, I'm looking at them like, no, you pieces of shit, you should have said something. But the people like the assistants, the people like the housekeepers, the people who were also getting abused
Mhm.
whilst witnessing abuse, to expect them to stand up
Mm.
is crazy. Now, also, it's also crazy to abuse these people who are just trying to come in, like your housekeeper. She's just trying to put food on her family's table. These people aren't here with any interest for being famous. And not to say that there's justification in abusing the people who want to be famous, right? But there's clearly nothing that I want from you other than my biweekly check.
Exactly. And we shouldn't forget about them. That's the thing. We don't notice these people because they're not famous. We don't notice whether they've disappeared, whether they've moved country, whether they're afraid of something, because we focus on the celebrities, the people that we connect to. But I
You
do
have a
want us
super
not to
chat.
forget. Mhm.
I'm sorry, you have a super chat comment, but after that, somebody mentioned that the coroner who performed Kim Porter's autopsy is no longer with us, and I think that was interesting as well.
Thank you, Court. Thank you, Al. First of all, because I miss things on the chat because I have to look at the camera and I'm also reading. But thank you so much for the super chat. Um, okay, where were we regarding? Hold on,
I'm
I
looking
missed
at
it.
some of your comments are
Mm,
good. Super chat, you
I
didn't say
know.
anything.
Okay, I think just before we wrap up, let's get some questions. Let's answer some questions from the chat. I can see that people have. Wait, what does Ebony say? Gave a disclaimer. He did not make the statements. Jagger drops the T and the forced apology exposed. The whole thing is fishy to me. I mean, Al, you know a lot more about this, obviously, than I do, but it just seemed very fishy because Piers Morgan, he said a lot of crap about Meghan Markle. He got fired from Good Morning Britain
Mhm.
because of, if you remember, the commentary and what he said about Meghan Markle, and he did not give two SHITs.
Yep.
And now suddenly, he has Jagger right on. He gets in trouble and he releases an apology right the next day. Something is off to me.
Yeah,
Something is
yeah,
going on.
okay, so the thing with Jaguar, right, is a lot of people say that she's right because she always says, "If I'm lying, sue me." But again, like I stated, she's never said those lies on a reputable platform. This is her very first time
Very
on a
good point.
reputable
Yeah,
platform. So this is
very good
their
point.
very first time taking legal action. Now, Ebony, where I will agree with you is what I thought exposed the Carters more is what happened after the Pierce Morgan. Okay. So after Pierce Morgan, and somebody said this here in the chat, I just saw the letter, so forgive me, but somebody said this in the chat. Free, who used to be the host of 106 in Park, Free and AJ, for a very long time, there was a rumor that Jay-Z knocked Free up. They had a baby, and that's the reason 106 Apart got a new host, because she was getting ready to get pregnant. They were keeping this a secret. He was just going to pay her off. She was going to go live her life in silence. Okay. While that lie was going on, there was also another lie about a Karina White might have been her name. Pause on the name. Okay. But there was a friend, somebody said it in the chat too. Somebody give me her correct name so I can say it correctly. But anyway, this person was allegedly in a relationship with Jay-Z. From that
Mhm.
relationship, she had supposedly Kathy White, thank you.
Kathy White. Yeah.
She had supposedly gotten pregnant and she was getting ready to go to a tabloid. Let's just say she had a meeting with the tabloid on Monday. She was unalived on Sunday. Okay. And part of the
Mhm.
reason they found it so quickly is because the person who was getting ready to go meet with her couldn't get her on the phone. What happened after Pierce Morgan is Free, who we have not heard from for years, came out and did a live to say that she never had any biological kids. Free, who the fuck asked you? Where did you come from? Why, after all of these years, after all of these allegations, Wendy Williams quite literally went online and congratulated her on the birth, named the hospital that she allegedly had the baby in and everything. And Free never said a word. Today, a day after the Pierce Morgan, you're speaking. You know what else happened?
Mm.
One of Kathy White's alleged best friends,
Mhm.
Claudia Jordan, used to be on TGIT. on Fox, used to be on Housewives. Claudia Jordan was allegedly best friends with Kathy White. They were in the modeling scene together, and the internet has been taking Claudia Jordan out for over a year. Why aren't you speaking up about your friend? Why aren't you saying anything? You know what happened after the Piers Morgan interview? Claudia White got on live and said she don't know Kathy. Stop with the lies. Leave Kathy out of it. So Piers Morgan was not interesting to me. People coming out of the woodworks, and I'm telling you, mark my words, if Blue Cantrell, oops, there goes the time we had her. She allegedly got a baby by Jay-Z. If Blue Cantrell bring her ass out here to say one word, I'm telling you, Jay-Z did it. You could quote me on that.
Ooh, the tea. The tea. Wow. I do believe a lot of this stuff is coming out, though.
It is. We got
November's
another
the
super
month.
chat. Corey, you got it right this time. Thank you, babes. Corey says, how does BIG currently feel about Lil Kim and Faith Evans? Now, I'm not the
Interesting you say
parent.
that. I just did another reading, and I did channel I tried Tupac, and Tupac, it was harder because he's an ascended master now. Honestly, he was a
It's because he's
prophet.
alive in Malaysia.
Come
Just
on.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know you don't believe it, but the whole Akil MC and all that crap that people like are like believe that he's Tupac. Like, it's driving me insane. I'm like, come on,
No, it's
people.
driving me crazy.
People are like, Elvis is alive, JFK is alive, Tupac is alive,
Michael Jackson's alive. Nobody dies. We all believe in death.
No,
We were all
nobody
sent here to
dies.
die, but none of these celebrities die. Come
They
on.
all live in the Diddler's tunnels. That's where they are. And now that Diddler's in prison, they're all going to come out of Diddler's tunnels, and they're going to be surprised. I'm here. No, but back to Corey. Back to Corey. Feel about Lil Kim and Faith Evans. Interesting. I cannot. You know what? You have to watch it, and I'm kind of plugging my videos, which I'm terrible at, by the way. But you have to watch it because Biggie has a lot of things to say, and he alluded regarding one of these women being involved in his unaliving, not directly though, okay? Through someone else. You've got to watch it because again, I have to be very careful how I say
Like in a
things.
temptress type of way?
Like a informant type of way.
Okay.
Like someone who who just reveals to someone else who's very powerful a lot of information about Biggie's whereabouts, what he likes to drink, what he do, everything. Everything was passed on to someone else. And in my opinion, allegedly, again, for entertainment purposes, this is my opinion. I do believe the diddler was involved. So there you go. Go watch the video. It will make a lot more sense when you watch it.
Well, I don't know if the diddler was involved because I was not there, but I do know that I can point you back to 2 Faith Evans interviews where Faith Evans tells you that they, her being her and Biggie Small's mother, know who unalived Biggie and that the LAPD will not investigate that person. Okay. Now you tell me if that sounds like Diddy. Now, I also believe this is just 100% my conspiracy theory. I believe that Stevie J and Faith Evans got married to take Diddy down. Would you like to hear the theory?
I like where you're going with that.
So Faith Evans and Stevie J have been around. They've all been in the industry for a very long time. They're not strangers to each other, but there was no romantic connection. Okay. Stevie J and Faith Evans get together and they start. Stevie J is the executive producer of Faith Evans' album. Okay. While that's happening, they're going on a press run. They're talking about the music. They're talking about the wedding. They're talking about the album. At least that's what they're supposed to be. In 2 different interviews on this press run, one with Wendy Williams and one with, I want to say the Huff Post, but I would have to look it up. But it's a newspaper site. Okay, they did an in-person interview. She's sitting on a brown leather couch, but I believe it was Huff Post. She again repeats, they know who killed Biggie Smalls LAPD will just not investigate it. Now, I found that interesting because you're supposed to be on a press run promoting your music. And I know that this is your husband. You're never going to evade these questions, but twice, 2 interviews. So I don't know. I don't have a way to pull all of her press run interviews, but I'm interested, like, why you would use that platform for this, right? Okay, great. They get married. The album doesn't do much in terms of music. They're quiet. You don't see anything the whole time. Stevie J isn't really with Jocelyn, and you know who he's not with? He's not with Diddy. Okay. Stevie J and Faith Evans get a divorce. They're no longer married. Who pops up parading around town with Diddy?
Biggie.
Everywhere he goes, Stevie J. Stevie J is there. Stevie J is there. Stevie J is there. The lawsuit drops. Stevie J posts a video of him on the highway. I think the caption says like getting out of Dodge or something like that. And we ain't seen Stevie J on the internet since.
He's in the tunnels.
But
all the tunnels.
Everybody's in the tunnel. Biggie, Tupac, Stevie J. Everybody's in the tunnel.
All of them.
Who would have in-depth information about how Diddy works, about how Diddy moves? Faith Evans, right? But again, if these two people are just friends and they're spending time alone, that tips you off. But if these two people who have had connections and who have been in orbit give us this romantic story, again, look here, don't look here.
Right.
You won't see it as two people who have a lot of information about me spending time together. You're not looking at it like that. I feel like their unionship was supposed to be, in the words of Brent Whitfield, like carbon monoxide. It was supposed to come in. It was supposed to be odorless. It was supposed to give us time to strategize and nobody question anything.
Wow. Mind blown.
Just my
mind blown. It's got legs. I do believe it has legs. I mean,
I think it got a little baby deer,
a little corgi legs. Yeah, for sure. You know,
Bambi at best.
That'll be interesting. I mean, generally, I do feel we're gonna do this again, Al. I mean, I know there's so many questions.
And the chat wants us to do Left Eye. Have you ever channeled Left Eye?
No, but I was thinking about her the other day. Do you want to do it together?
Yes. Immediately, yes.
Yes. Okay. Here we go, you guys. Listen, from now, definitely until the trial, if there is one, we'll see. I think we should do this a regular collab because there's so much. You are so knowledgeable and so into this. This is so interesting, bouncing off all these theories and all this information, and then reading the cards and reading. This is fabulous because I really feel that we can actually start untangling this.
Yes.
Mess.
It's like our little board. We got to string together our theories.
Exactly. And of course, I mean, there you go. Is Scorpio with a Scorpio moon. I mean, the energy where we can go very deep and very dark if we want to start digging. I mean,
I love a rabbit hole.
I love a rabbit hole too.
And
I love it.
I come equipped with Lisa Left Eye theories from I'm salivating just thinking about it. I'm so ready.
Let's do it. Let's even do it next week if you can, or
I'm ready. I'm already there. I'm logged in.
Love it. Done. You heard it here, you guys. So you have to come back. For all of you who are new here, you have to come back next week because, of course, Al is going to be back. I couldn't be more excited. We're going to be talking about Left Eye. And if we missed some of your questions, I'm really sorry. It's impossible. It's impossible to talk, read the chat and everything. But please save those questions for next time because we will try, or we'll give some time for the chat's questions for sure.
Danny Gossip Girl says, I plan on making a network map of this, Elle and Natalie, like I need with Mr. E. You all speak and I will put it together.
And we know Danny's incredible. She's amazing at unraveling, and she's like an incredible natural detective.
I love her. I said this before and I will say it again because you're here. Danny, I love your marketing with your podcast. I freaking love it. Like, I'm jealous. Come do
She's
mine.
amazing. She's amazing. Danny's amazing. She's doing a great job. And for all of you, for anyone who doesn't know, Danny just launched her podcast. It's called Pop Culture Expose. Head on over. It's on YouTube. It's all on all podcast
It's
platforms. It's
amazing.
amazing. It's very interesting. She talks about the different music eras. She talks about pop culture. She exposes the blinds. There's a lot. So you have to go follow her. She is a Femme after all. And we do support here. Femmes for Femmes. We support our community always. And oh, Elle, this was such a play. I don't want this to end, but
I
it has to end at some
know.
point.
I know.
But part 2 is coming next week, everyone. So
Part 2 is coming.
hold on tight, write down your questions, and then we'll dive in, because I'm sure a lot more information is going to come through that reading with Left Eye. I'll try and channel her as well. I will do my prep beforehand, which is the meditation and all that I do to connect to spirit, and then hopefully she'll come through, and then you can ask her anything you want, Elle, and then we'll see what comes through from that. I mean, honestly, I want to see Danny's board when she's done with all these.
I am so ready. Please, girl. Get the group chat going.
I agree. Come on, everyone, the whole community. We're all in it together. Let's unravel all this. You know what? Even if justice is not able to do its job because of whatever happens to Diddler until then, at least let's put all that information, and then and it's also to help the victims. They're like, it's not, again, it's not the celebrities, it's not the artists. There's so many other victims. We're talking about minors, we're talking about schmegs, traffickers. I need to be careful what I say. It's all these people that have been living in fear and have been abused all these years. We need to give them a voice. We need to give them a platform. We need to put their stories out there, just saying. So yeah, this is a lot.
Jam LeBlanc, before we go, Big Brother, who's winning? I would love to see Chelsea win. That would make me so happy. She won part 1 HOH. Mackenzie won part 2 HOH. So Cam was a good floater. He was a good pawn, but my fingers are crossed on Sunday for Chelsea. With her second part 1 HOH win, she has now become the most the house guest to win the most HOHs in all of the 26 seasons. That now belongs to Chelsea. She was tied at her last HOH, and this one made her that. So we love a BB history. And I'll see you guys on Monday over at my channel, Just El Murasaki, for our live hot topic breakdown of all of the crap that happened this weekend.
And for those from my channel, my community, who don't know where to find you, can you please share where they can find you on YouTube, on Instagram, everything?
Everything. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Just El Murasaki, JUSTELLEMURASAKI. If you want to connect with me on Twitter, it's El Murasaki. Just is too long. So ITS El Murasaki. And you can find me on those places. Those are my hangouts. Hopefully in 2025, we'll be bringing you some in-person events. So get ready. And hopefully for the Christmas holiday, I'll have some merch for you. So get ready.
Wonderful. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I will drop everything down below in the description anyway, so it will be easier for you to find. Elle, thank you everyone for joining. Till next time, take care, everyone. Bye.